At once the sky cleared. It was as if the prince rose from the dead. He questioned Kolya, hanging on his every word, repeated his questions 10 times, laughed like a child, and kept pressing the hands of the two laughing and bright-eyed boys. So it turned out that Aglaya had forgiven him, and the prince could go to see her again that very evening, and for him that was not only the main thing, but even everything. What children we still are, Kolya. And, how good it is that we're children. He finally exclaimed in ecstasy. She's quite simply in love with you, Prince, that's all. Kolya replied imposingly and with authority. The prince blushed, but this time he said nothing, and Kolya only guffawed and clapped his hands. A minute later the prince, too, burst out laughing, and then right until evening he kept looking at his watch every 5 minutes, to see how much time had passed and how much remained till evening. But her mood got the upper hand. Lizaveta Prokofyevna was finally unable to help herself and succumbed to a hysterical moment. Despite all the objections of her husband and daughters, she immediately sent for Aglaya, in order to put the ultimate question to her and get from her the most clear and ultimate answer. So as to be done with it all at once, and get it off my shoulders, and never think of it again. Otherwise, she announced, I won't survive till evening. And only then did they all realize what a muddle things had been brought to. Apart from feigned astonishment, indignation, laughter, and mockery of the prince and all her questioners, they got nothing from Aglaya. Lizaveta Prokofyevna took to her bed and came out only for tea, by which time the prince was expected. She awaited the prince with trepidation, and when he arrived she nearly had hysterics. And the prince himself came in timidly, all but gropingly, with a strange smile, peeking into all their eyes and as if asking them all a question, because Aglaya again was not in the room, which alarmed him at once. That evening there were no outsiders, only members of the family. Prince Shch was still in Petersburg on business connected with Yevgeny Pavlovich's uncle. If only he could happen by and say something, Lizaveta Prokofyevna pined for him. Ivan Fyodorovich sat with an extremely preoccupied air. The sisters were serious and, as if on purpose, silent. Lizaveta Prokofyevna did not know how to begin the conversation. In the end she suddenly produced an energetic denunciation of the railways and looked at the prince in decided defiance. Alas! Aglaya did not come out, and the prince was perishing. Nearly babbling and at a loss, he expressed the opinion that it would be of great utility to repair the railways, but Adelaida suddenly laughed, and the prince was again annihilated. At that very moment Aglaya came in calmly and gravely, gave the prince a ceremonious bow, and solemnly took the most conspicuous place at the round table. She looked questioningly at the prince. Everyone realized that the resolution of all misunderstandings was at hand. "Did you receive my hedgehog?" she asked firmly and almost crossly. "I did," the prince replied, blushing and with a sinking heart. "Then explain immediately what you think about it." "It is necessary for my mother's peace and that of the whole family." "Listen, Aglaya," the general suddenly began to worry. This is beyond all limits." Lizaveta Prokofyevna suddenly became frightened of something. "There aren't any limits here," Maman the daughter replied sternly and at once. "Today I sent the prince a hedgehog, and I wish to know his opinion." "What is it, prince?" "You mean my opinion, Aglaya Ivanovna?" "Of the hedgehog?" "That is, I think, Aglaya Ivanovna, that you want to know how I took the hedgehog, or, better to say, how I looked at this sending of the hedgehog, that is, in which case, I suppose that in a word." He ran out of breath and fell silent. "Well, you haven't said much." Aglaya paused for 5 seconds. "Very well, I agree to drop the hedgehog, but I'm very glad that I can finally put an end to all the accumulated misunderstandings." "Allow me, finally, to learn from you yourself and personally, are you proposing to me or not?" "Oh, Lord!" escaped Lizaveta Prokofyevna. The prince gave a start and drew back. Ivan Fyodorovitch was dumbstruck. The sisters frowned. "Don't lie, prince, tell the truth." "On account of you, I'm hounded by strange interrogations. Are there any grounds for those interrogations?" "Well, I haven't proposed to you, Aglaya Ivanovna, said the prince, suddenly becoming animated, but, you know yourself how much I love you and believe in you, even now. My question was, are you asking for my hand or not? I am, the prince replied, his heart sinking. A general and strong commotion followed. This is all not right, my dear friend, Ivan Fyodorovich said in great agitation. This is almost impossible. If it's so, Glasha, forgive me, Prince, forgive me, my dear. Lizaveta Prokofyevna. He turned to his wife for help. We must look into it. I refuse, I refuse. Lizaveta Prokofyevna waved her hands. Allow me to speak as well, Maman. I also mean something in such a matter. The great moment of my destiny is being decided. That is precisely how Aglaya put it, and I myself want to know. And besides, I'm glad it's in front of everybody. Allow me to ask you, Prince, if you do nurture such intentions, precisely how do you propose to ensure my happiness? I don't really know how to answer you, Aglaya Ivanovna. There, what is there to say? And is there any need? You seem to be embarrassed and breathless. Rest a little and gather fresh strength. Drink a glass of water. Anyhow, tea will be served presently. I love you, Aglaya Ivanovna. I love you very much. I love only you and, don't joke, please, I love you very much. But, nevertheless, this is an important matter. We're not children, we must look positively. Take the trouble now to tell us, what does your fortune amount to?